Alrighty, what is up, guys? Welcome back. Evan Aldo here. If you enjoyed the content, please leave a thumbs up. Also, first things first, we're going to talk about a lot of important things today. Bitcoin, Ethereum, I think we could have a little bit of a rally into the next week, similar to what CF has been talking about. And also gold and silver, a lot of big news articles talking about how gold and silver are going to have a good big year. A lot of news articles also talking about how oil could have a good year. I think they're right about gold and silver. I think they're completely wrong about oil. I want to show you oil too a little bit as well. But first, please check out the link to BITGET down below if you're interested in trading. Really good promo going on right now. You could get a big bonus, and there's a tournament going on right now, so check that out. Also, please follow my Twitch. Live streams are exclusively on Twitch right now. It would mean a lot if you followed my Twitch, so check it out. So let's get into Bitcoin Ethereum. I want to talk about the possible rally, and I'm going to make this a little bit more quick and concise here. Now, you have the bullish div on the 3-day here, which looks pretty good. And I think, in the bear market, I don't think this is going to be a place for the bottom. Anything's possible. This could have been the bottom here, obviously. But I think what this will most likely give you is this combined with a lot of kind of what we're seeing on the low time frames, like potential, wow, this got a nice pop up earlier here, like a lot of money flow crossovers, kind of like this is just maybe a repeat of this general trajectory upward again. So another 2% or something here once we finally cross into the green, which would probably be around the area we are right now. And then 2% could bring us up to mid 17, something of that nature in the next week. It's more of a gradual kind of decline as we've been seeing recently. And we've also been seeing that in S&P 500 as well. I think maybe it could be a little bit different this time. Like, now I know I've talked about a possible capitulation. I still think it could happen. It only takes one bad thing with Russia. It only takes one little bad thing to kind of get that. But I also think there's a possibility for kind of a gradual decline. I kind of want more of a gradual decline, kind of a repeat of something like this down to a potential bottom at like 11, 12K into March, April, or in the summer, just bore everyone to death kind of in this market. And then that's kind of your place to really get in. I think obviously the big DCA strategy, I've talked about it a lot. I'll talk about it briefly again. Just the 10-month period when you're in the red here on the 2-week is going to be perfect for getting in to Bitcoin long term. Now, if we look at some of these lower time frames, what I want to show you here is you're looking at the RSI starting to split apart kind of on the 12-hour right here. So I think once we get higher here, once we get a higher anchor wave, a red dot while the RSIs are split, something of this nature, about a week from now, maybe a little bit longer, 5 to 10 days from now, something of that nature, you get that big area, you come up to maybe mid 17s, who knows, maybe even a little bit higher here, and you kind of form, hopefully, I don't think it'll be that high, maybe just 17.3, that area right there. Are there any spiral lines? There's a spiral line there, so it could be that high, but you're kind of forming what I think will happen to be a kind of a head and shoulders right here. After that, I think you're going to kind of break downward and potentially get a new low at high 14s. I think that could be the next big place after we kind of rally up for a week here. And, looking at kind of these lower time frames, what you've been seeing here when we have split RSIs is don't be too trigger happy. I've kind of been making that mistake a little bit, even myself. Don't be too trigger happy. Wait till we get higher with the split RSIs, get a higher anchor wave. And I think what will overpower them right now is look at that good curvature. Money flow coming into the green as a VWAP's been below zero line for a decent amount of time. Coming into the green, that could be a catalyst upward. Now, where could that bring us to? Look, kind of this, maybe a 3% gain from kind of down here when it started, that would be low, mid to low 17s could be a decent area right there. And look at all of these highs. Look at where price keeps rejecting around 17.3. So that could be a pretty big place to look at, a very significant place to look at in the next week. 4 hour, same deal. Money flow coming up. That could bring us that drive up. Money flow coming up while you're having a green dot. That looks pretty good to me for the bullish case. And yeah. Just for the record, I don't think we bottomed out. I think we're still bearish on the macro, especially with the S&P 500, but it's more of a, just a slower market, just a slower, more gradual decline. Also, money flow crossover on the 15 could be repetitive of what we saw right here. This is a 2% gain, so about a 2% gain from right there. Where would that bring us up to? Yeah, right around the low 17s. That's my best guess right now for the next week for Bitcoin. And now let's move on to Ethereum here. So Same deal with the 3-day, same just like Bitcoin. Could have that jump up. The big time frames I want to look at, I mean, obviously when you get down, looks like the RSIs will continue forward with this, continue upward with this green dot. You come up, these RSIs split apart, have another jump up just a little bit higher here up to, well, kind of a repeat of this maybe up to like 1300. See how price keeps rejecting from there, or a little bit higher up to the spiral line at 1330. Now the CPI report comes out next week. If it's good, you may have, that could be your last jump up, and then it's kind of sell the news after that. So, you know, I think it's on the 12th, so it's 6 more days. Could be a 6 more day type deal here. And, you know, same thing, green dot, view up coming up. You are kind of getting high into the green. I think when you start to get overheated, maybe you could see this would be a really good short. If you could get high into the green, make a lower low here, and, you know, a few days here probably would take longer than that. Maybe something like this, you know, the 10th or something. And then you're at this point, that would be a good short when that finally does happen, if you do see that. But it could take a little bit of time here. Moving on to kind of the 4 hour right here. This could be a little bit more bearish if you reject from kind of this area where you are right now. I do think you should come down a little bit. And some of these lower time frames, excuse me, are looking a little bit more bearish. So there is a possibility to come down a little bit and then maybe continue forward. But I think based on the high time frames, it does look like you could continue forward a little bit. I mean, there's always going to be a bearish case. That's a rejection from here. It could be a potentially good short, good scalp short right now based on this this bearish div on the 15-minute, and then you're kind of betting that money flow is going to come back into the red. Maybe that could work, but with the 3-day and the fact that we've kind of, you know, come above this area, we've broken above this high volume area, the range high right here, that could be the next place we're looking at right there. So I wanted to also talk about, I don't talk about gold and silver too much, but I think there, you know, a lot of news articles are talking about how they could have a good year. And I think, you know, contrary to popular belief, news articles are not always wrong. They're wrong, you know, and overall, probably they're more wrong than right. But there are some, you know, broken clock is right more twice a day. And if you just look at right here in the monthly, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but look at the monthly, that money flow crossover. This was 01, 02, and I think what this recession will look like is kind of a lot like 01, like kind of how the S&P 500 looks. So I think history will repeat to a certain extent there, and I think this could outperform the S&P 500 by quite a bit. That's gold, S&P 500. Look right there. Obviously, that would be crazy. I don't think it's going to be like the 1970s. That's what Peter Schiff thinks, but you know, we'll see. And then money flow crossover right here, getting very close. I think silver could have a nice trajectory upward over, you know, next few years against S&P 500 right there. It'll probably outperform the NASDAQ by even more. And I just want to show you kind of the, let's look at oil quickly. And I want to show you, because there's been a lot of people still talking about oil coming back. And I mean, it's possible. It might be possible. I don't like anything I'm seeing on this right now. Natural gas is dumping too. I mean, look at this. Money flow coming out, red dot. This does not look good by any means. You have a technical target right around $55. Your weekly had a blood diamond. Weekly money flow coming out. This is not looking good by any means. I would stay away from oil right now. Not financial advice, could be wrong, but that's my view on it right now. And, you know, that's what I'm looking at in oil. I just want to show you guys the S&P 500 lastly in this analysis here. And what I think, you know, what it's very comparable to is kind of the 2-week. Now, look at the 2-week here. You're completely in the grays right here on the EMAs. And it's kind of a slow-moving drop down, unlike, well, I mean, if you zoom out, it's not any, like, faster, not any slower than 08 really yet. So we could have a drop down pretty quickly, even with this red dot printing now on the 2-week, drop down pretty quickly. Or it could be more slow-moving, kind of like this area. See, you're in the grays, and then you came down, but it took some time. It was more slow-moving right there. That's my main guess, more like a 1, because history never repeats exactly. I think it's going to be more like that type of area. Also, if you go back even farther, let's go on logarithmic here. Let's go to 19, where I circled right here. Kind of more like this area, possibly. That's a quick drop down. So I think we will come down, but it could be a little bit more gradual. And I think the next week could be kind of more bullish with everything, given, you know, given how we're looking right here, money flow coming up. You are getting some green dots, especially on the 2-day right there. So if you draw this line of resistance right here, would not surprise me if you get back up to like high 3s again. You know, maybe back up another on this $50 to $100 or something in the next week. You absolutely could just roll over here, but that's kind of what I'm seeing. And lastly, I know I said this one was last, but I wanted to show you the DXY. Bouncing around a little bit more. I think it could be choppy. I think you'd bounce around a little bit more here. I think it ultimately will keep coming up. If it doesn't come up, if it just keeps coming down, that's going to be bad because that means inflation is going to be rough. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be like, historical recessions where commodities do come down. Oil comes down, all those come down, and then gold and silver are able to come up, similar to what we've seen historically, and the DXY comes up. That's what I'm thinking will happen. I think once you get this green dot in the weekly, that'll be a nice catalyst to kind of repeat something of this nature. Probably slower and more gradual, but something of what you saw over here. That's what I think will happen. All right, guys, if you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out my link to BITGET down below if you're interested in trading. Also, please check out my exclusive Discord if you want some of my trade calls. I do kind of macro things. I tell you guys what I'm doing on the macro, and I do trade entries, stop losses, take profits. Not right 100% of the time, but we've had some good trades in there. So check that out if you're interested. A link in the description below, along with the BITGET down below as well. You do need a VPN if you're in the US to use BITGET. So yeah, that should be it right now. Guys, please follow my Twitch as well. If you're interested in a trading course, by the way, last thing, if you're interested in a trading course, I do have a course, link in the description below. A lot of people have told me they really liked it. I've learned a lot. It's a really good course for a beginner. If you already know a lot of market cipher and already have been studying this for a while, it might not be the best thing for you, but very good for beginners. I would say for a basic course, a lot of people have really liked it. There is a discount code down below, bear market 20% off. All right, guys, so have a good one. Goodbye.